I was born into a deeply Catholic family on September 21st, 1952, surrounded by the love of three sisters and the teachings of faith. At the age of 16, fate threw me into a labyrinth of suffering. The first epileptic crisis hit me like a storm, shaking my existence. Initially, I thought these episodes were just a trial, a battle that faith could overcome. However, as time went on, the crises became more severe, invading my life like indomitable shadows. Praying, which had once been my refuge, became an arena of confrontation. Each Hail Mary was punctuated by seizures, a grotesque choreography contrasting with the devotion I sought. Depression settled in my heart, and the thought of taking my own life became a persistent shadow. Voices, sinister and insidious, found a home in my mind. They incited me to commit evil acts, whispered that I was cursed. I felt like a prisoner of my own being, captive to a force beyond human understanding. Desperate, I plunged into psychiatric treatments, seeking answers that my tormented mind couldn't find. Every therapist, every expert seemed powerless before the enigma I represented. The darkness persisted and my inner torment seemed insurmountable. It was then that my parents, desperate to free me from the demonic influence they believed plagued me, decided on the path of exorcism. The sessions, led by priests Ernest Alt and Arnold Renz, became my last hope. More than 60 sessions, 2 per week, each lasting 4 hours, like a sinister dance between the sacred and the profane. Hunger and thirst, coupled with a refusal to accept any form of medical treatment, became part of my resistance. Each exorcism drained me, but it was a price I was willing to pay for the hope of liberation. In 1976, my body, weakened and frail, succumbed to starvation and dehydration. My parents, once believing they were fighting for my soul, now faced charges of medical negligence. The priests, the exorcists who believed they could save me, were subject to investigations. My story remains as a dark echo, a tragic crossroads between faith and the unknown. May this account serve as a testimony to the complexity of human torment, and may the shadows that obscured my existence finally find the peace I could never attain. In January 1971, my husband Roger and I made the decision to move our family to a spacious farmhouse in Rhode Island. With 10 rooms, there was plenty of space for our 5 daughters. Initially, it seemed like the perfect home to raise our children. Little did we know that we were about to enter a supernatural nightmare. At first, the harsh winter seemed to only contribute to the heavy atmosphere lingering over the house. We felt a strange energy, as if the air was charged with something unexplainable. The children couldn't sleep, tormented by mysterious voices and lamentations echoing through the walls. Gradually, supernatural events intensified. Beds levitated in the silence of the night. Frames fell for no apparent reason. Dust swirls danced through the rooms, and spirits began to manifest, whispering to the ears of my helpless daughters. My husband, Roger, started to be haunted by an inexplicable smell coming from the basement. Restless and determined to understand the origin of this evil, our family researched the history of the property. That's when we discovered the terrible truth. The house had housed generations of the same family, marked by tragedies such as drownings and murders. As we delved into the dark past of the house, more sinister events unfolded. It was said that the spirit of Bathsheba Sherman, a woman involved in diabolical practices, began to haunt our home, directing her wrath towards me. According to local legends, Bathsheba had met a tragic end on the property, leaving behind a trail of curse. Desperate, we sought the help of the Warrens, renowned exorcists, hoping to rid our house of these tormented forces. Numerous rituals were performed, but nothing seemed to have an effect against the malevolent force that had taken hold of the place. The terror continued to escalate, and the only way out we found was to abandon the property in 1980. The house that we once thought was our home had become a stage for unimaginable horrors, an experience that would haunt us forever, like a dark echo of those terrifying nights. The story of our battle against the unknown and supernatural malevolence left deep scars on our souls, a somber reminder echoing through time. On that ominous night, when the change led us to that gloomy house in Japan, we knew little about the curse awaiting in the shadows. As we discarded Maria, the porcelain doll, the sense of relief was overshadowed by an invisible presence, a premonition that our lives were about to plunge into a supernatural nightmare. The phone rang, echoing through the empty house, and a voice whispered, "Hello, it's Maria. I'm in the trash now." My breath caught as I stared into the darkness beyond the windows, questioning if the prank had transcended the boundaries of the supernatural. "Hello, it's Maria. I am in the corner store now." The voice, now closer, whispered like a chilling wind penetrating the walls of our new abode. Fear transformed into paranoia, and I found myself looking at every shadow, every corner, in search of the invisible presence. The third call brought confirmation of our doom. "Hello, it's Maria. I am in front of your house now." The front door creaked open, revealing only darkness beyond. Hesitating, an indescribable force compelled me to open it, confronting the uncertainty lurking in the night's darkness. The pale figure of the doll was no longer an illusion. Its lifeless eyes seemed to capture the essence of darkness, and its smile was more terrifying than any nightmare. The phone echoed again, a haunting reverberation. "Hello, it's Maria. I'm behind you." Panic enveloped me, and each step of the doll was a macabre echo. I retreated, but it advanced inexorably, shadows dancing around it like sinister attendants. Maria spoke with a voice that seemed to emerge from unfathomable abysses. "You abandoned me, but now we are eternally connected." The walls of the house seemed to pulse with malevolent energy as the scene unfolded in a spectacle of horror. Maria spoke words that echoed through the empty corridors, revealing the hidden truth behind the Japanese urban legend. "You have awakened my wrath, and now your soul is mine." The video would capture every nuance of horror, every shiver that ran down my spine, as Maria, the porcelain doll, consumed not only my existence but also the reality around us. The urban legend had become a macabre dance between the supernatural and the human, intertwining our destinies inextricably. The phone remained silent, but the shadows continued to whisper, perpetuating the nightmare beyond the screen. The night descended upon the Abbey of Silence with a profound and unsettling darkness, as if time itself had halted its advance. The hill, surrounded by a dense forest of twisted trees, was home to ancient secrets intertwining with the centuries-old stone walls. I, Isabella, a novice with curious eyes, absorbed every detail of monastic life with insatiable curiosity. However, the nights became witnesses to whispered sighs and shadows moving furtively, challenging the sacred silence of the abbey. Compelled by an irrepressible intrigue, I began to unravel a veil of mystery shrouding the convent. Meanwhile, at the foot of the hill, a group of teenagers led by Lucas, whose thirst for adventure knew no bounds, heard tales of legends involving the Abbey of Silence. Stories of occult rituals and dark presences sparked reckless curiosity in them. With flickering lanterns, they ventured onto the sacred grounds, oblivious to the darkness hidden in forgotten corners. As the night progressed, the abbey revealed its hidden scars. Shadows seemed to dance in response to the lantern light, while distorted laughter echoed through empty corridors. The teenagers, immersed in the charged atmosphere, discovered a dusty diary in the library. Sister Agnes, a nun who had long departed from this world, confessed in its yellowed pages dark rituals and an entity lurking in the shadows. Curiosity united me with the group of teenagers, forming an unlikely alliance in the quest for answers. As we explored abandoned hallways, the wind murmured forbidden secrets, and visions of the past haunted our minds. The climax unfolded in a room illuminated only by flickering candles, where the malevolent entity seemed to come to life. Terrifying visions and distorted sounds tested the group's sanity. Tension reached its peak as we faced supernatural challenges, while the entity tried to ensnare us in a sinister nightmare. At the height of the confrontation, I understood that my courage and purity were the key to breaking the curse. In an act of sacrifice, I confronted the dark entity, facing terrifying visions that blurred the line between reality and the supernatural. Shadows danced around me as the room pulsed with a sinister presence. The grand finale brought redemption, but not without cost. My courage and the sacrifice of my innocence purified the abbey. The nuns of the past finally found peace, but our group departed marked by visions that would continue to haunt our dreams. Even as we distanced ourselves from the abbey, the shadows persisted in our minds, and a sense of unease accompanied us. The story of the Abbey of Silence echoed like a scream in the night, leaving an unresolved mystery hanging in the air. Every step taken that night carried the weight of the unknown, and the enigma of the abbey would continue to haunt those who ventured into its dark depths.